Welcome to Renewed and Radiant Podcast. This is where we have the real and raw conversations. So if you're ready to rise into the woman you were created to be, you're in the right place. And together we can design a life you love. Hey friends, I am excited for today. This is going to be fun and it's just going to be a great conversation. I have today with me Susan Wiesemann. She is a writer, an award-winning speaker, a former wellness coach, and Fortune 500 marketing exec. She's done a lot. You're going to enjoy this conversation today. She helps women break free from the pressure of having it all together. Yay! I am so excited for this conversation. Susan is the author of Undoing Superwoman, Losing Total Control to Gain Ultimate Freedom. She's a down-to-earth, road-tested field guide for women who feel the weight of the world on their shoulders. And she invites readers to ditch the cape, step into God's grace, and discover that real freedom comes from not doing more, but from finally doing less. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be here.
Oh, okay, Susan, let's get right into it. I love the real and the raw. So will you please share your story? What have you been through that has got you to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened was almost exactly 7 years ago, after I had what looked like a great life on the outside. Like it looked like, okay, I had a great husband, great kids, lived in a great neighborhood, had a successful marketing consulting business. And 7 years ago, I landed in the emergency room on my birthday because I had these, I was going to try to get fit again and I wanted to try a spinning class. And I was like, oh, I've never done one of those before. That will help me get in shape. And when I was on my way to get my workout clothes, I almost passed out. I mean, just walking across the room. And then even just bending down to try to get the workout clothes out of my laundry basket, I almost passed out. So what started with, okay, I went to the doctor, they took a blood draw. The blood draw, they said, ooh, these markers don't look good. Landed me in the emergency room and they found nothing. I left with more questions than answers and spent months getting test after test after test. And just, it became obvious that I, at the time, felt like a medical anomaly. And it took 2 years for me to finally get a diagnosis, after having this mystery illness. And actually, the symptoms got worse. So I went from just, being lightheaded and tired to having a heartbeat that was so rapid that it felt like I was running a race 24/7. I had to take a break from walking up a flight of steps. I had to take a 2-hour nap every day just to get through a day. I found out that I had lost almost 20% of my lung function, and I had muscle weakness that was so severe that I would have to take a break from something as simple as chewing food. And just test after test, doctors couldn't figure it out. They could confirm the symptoms, but they couldn't figure out what the cause was, what the root cause was. So 2 years into my disease, it was actually a pretty remarkable story. I got a diagnosis to go to a cardiologist, and God made a way for me to get into the cardiologist. Not like normally when you go to a specialist, it takes like 4, 5, 6 months to get into the specialist. God got me into that cardiologist 2 days later. And it wasn't a heart condition per se. But he diagnosed me with an incurable autoimmune disease that, as he described, when I see otherwise healthy women your age get what you got, it's because they're trying to be a superwoman. Yeah.
Whoa.
Right?
Were you like,
and it was like
here.
A gut punch. It was like, oh,
wow.
Right. So, it resonated. It really hit home. And what he meant by superwoman, I mean, I think most women I talk to can relate to that. And it was toxic levels of stress and anxiety, and just it short-circuited the part of my brain that controls all of the automatic functions in your body. So heart beating, lungs breathing, all of those things that we take for granted completely shut down, which is why doctors couldn't figure it out, because it was just all of these different body functions that just went haywire. So it became obvious, like, okay, I have been trying to be a superwoman. I've been trying to be all things to all people. The word no didn't seem to be in my vocabulary because I thought that if I said no to anybody, it would make me a bad friend, a bad Christian, and a bad businesswoman. And I had zero boundaries whatsoever. And honestly, having a relationship with God wasn't really like I believed in Jesus. I very much believed in God, and I attended Bible study every week. I thought I was doing the right things, and I just wasn't in mind, body, or spirit. And having time with God, like having a quiet time with God in the morning, felt like, oh, that's for all those other women, who have the time. Felt like it felt like a luxury instead of, something that was necessary, and it was necessary. So God took me on a long journey of inner healing, which included cleaning up my diet, but it also included just a lot of inner healing work, including forgiveness and repentance, grief recovery, a lot of different things. And so after all of that was done, 2 years after I got my diagnosis, I was given a clean bill of health. My cardiologist released me from his care, and then God asked me to write a book to help other women who are feeling like they're being a superwoman and who need a way out, and that's what I did. So it really is a field guide. It's not just a memoir because who needs to hear about me, but it's told through the lens of my story, um so that women can have, like, okay, this is what worked for me, and maybe all of it can work for you, maybe some of it can work for you. And whether they're dealing with some sort of autoimmune disease or not, whatever is going on, if they're trying to be a superwoman, there are probably parts in it that will resonate with them and that could help them. So that's my story.
Oh my goodness, Susan, this is amazing. And I feel like probably every woman that will listen to this can relate in some way or shape of another. Like it's just so, you're so true that we can set ourselves up for this, and where we don't have boundaries, like you mentioned, or we don't use the word no, or we feel like it's a reflection of us if we do have a boundary, or if we do say no, that we're a bad person or we're a bad friend or a bad mom or whatever that is. It's so interesting that we get caught up in that, which I'm not sure why that is, but I love that you're shining this light on it. And I mean, your case is extreme, but that's where it goes. If we choose not to take care of ourselves, this is how it ends up. In different ways, it can show up for different people. And I always say that God will use our journey to lead us to our destiny if we let Him. Thank you for allowing Him to use this journey that you've been on to now share with other women, and to encourage and give hope, and to, almost like light a path too. I feel like your book helps light a path of these are some things you can do. And sometimes we don't even realize that we're stuck, that we're in this people pleasing and in this go, 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 go mode. It can become our identity actually as well. I'm
Yep.
speaking from experience. That's why, where it's like, no, this is who I am. This is what I do. And I just go, go, go. And you become known for that. And I feel like too, in society, a lot of times that can be edified, or, oh, like she's such a goer. She's so busy. She's always, and then in our minds, we think that's a good thing. And, it's not necessarily right. And so I love how you've used your journey and you're helping other women with this, and that your book is, like you said, it's not just your story. It's a guidebook to, hey, if this is you at all, or if you need help with this at all, like this is great. Like, I can relate to you because I'm also that kind of person, but also you're giving me ideas and things that I can do to help take the direction away from that.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah, you talking about identity, like the work or the productivity becoming an identity, that absolutely was the case with me. I felt like if I had to complete a to-do list, then I was a rock star. If I didn't, then it felt like I was a moral failure. And my work definitely became my identity. And I didn't realize just how much, and I didn't share this part of my story with you yet. The day after, God had been kind of talking to me about this ahead of time, but the day after I got my diagnosis, God asked me to shut my business down. Yeah. I knew it was coming at some point. I didn't know when he was going to ask me to do it, but he asked me to do it the day after I got my diagnosis. And I think it was partly so that I could heal, so I could really focus on healing. I'd already healed some by the time I got my diagnosis, but I had a long ways to go. But the other part of that I absolutely know is God wanted to strip that identity away from me. He needed me to see that my identity was not rooted in what I did. It was rooted in whose I was. I can't tell you, like, it took a while. It took a long while for me to let him strip that identity from me and for me to receive that revelation from him, because there was a long time where I was ashamed to even run into somebody I knew because I was afraid that I was going to have to admit that I shut down my business. I was really fearful of that. And so it took time for me to finally just surrender it to God and say, okay, this isn't mine anymore. This isn't my worth. It's not my identity. And I just had to receive it.
Yeah, that's so good because it takes years to get to where we are and develop that identity and get to that point. So, it's not even fair for us to think that, oh, I should just be better. It's a process and it's a journey. And I'm so thankful that God loves us too much to leave us stuck where we are, that he reveals things and takes us on that journey and helps us to heal. And the freedom that you have now must be incredible.
It's like night and day. I mean, I genuinely think there are people who don't even recognize me as the same person because I used to be wound so tight and, just so stressed out all the time. I'm sure I was probably, had a much shorter fuse. I have a lot more peace now. So yeah, yeah, it's a freedom I never even knew existed. And that's what I want for other women.
I love that. That's so good. Okay, I just want to stop us here and just let everybody know where they can get your book before we go on any further, because I'm sure they're like, can you tell us about this, how to get this book? Because it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So for everybody, you can see what it looks like. Undoing Superwoman, losing total control to gain ultimate freedom. And it is available on Amazon. It's also available at store.lightofthelamp.org, which is my storefront. And for anybody who's ever had a small business, you probably know that it's much better for the small business owner if you buy right from their storefront as opposed to buying from Amazon. So if somebody is interested in buying my book, then they can do that. And then if they are interested, if you want to read the first chapter for free, you can go to lightofthelamp.org/book and you can get the first chapter for free. So you can try it before you buy it. So
Nice. That's so nice.
yeah.
And how can people follow you along or reach out to you, that kind of thing too, Susan?
Yeah, so on Instagram, I am at light.of_the_lamp. That is the name of my business. God put it on my heart years ago. Maybe it was partly because my last name is so hard to spell and pronounce that he decided, you know what, your website should be your entity should be called something other than Susan Wiesemann. But it's Light of the Lamp because based on Matthew 5 on lighting the path and shining God's light, and not keeping it hidden. And so it's funny that you mentioned earlier about my book and my information being a light for people's paths. That really is, the goal is to be a light. And I also do speaking I love to speak to women's groups. So I speak on burnout, preventing it or coming out of it, setting healthy boundaries, and women's wellness. So I love to talk about all of those topics, and so that's something that people can talk to me about as well.
I love this. This is so good. So, I think step number one is get the book. Get the book because you're going to recognize, hey, I'm not alone in this. Because as women, a
Right.
lot of times, right, we think, oh, I'm the only one that's dealing with this, or I'm the only one that feels like this. Not true. So, get the book. Number two is the importance of setting boundaries and remembering the importance of that and recognizing where this can lead if we choose not to. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's not selfish to be saying no, practicing no. That's not a selfish thing, because if you don't, we get ourselves into a position like this where we can't help anyone then. And then recognize that so much freedom can come from this if you choose to. If you're a high achiever, which is mostly who I coach as well and speak with and have in my community, so this is resonating with a lot of women, it can be hard, feel like hard work. So often I'll have to tell someone, Kate, you need to actually do less. They think, when they come to me for their health or weight loss or that kind of thing, I'm going to say, you got to work out more, you got to do more, eat less. Then no, mostly always that's never the case. It's actually a matter of doing less, which can be for a high achieving woman, someone that's always on the go, that can be hard work. So recognizing this it's simple, I believe, but not always easy.
Absolutely. For sure. It is, yes, the steps can be very straightforward, but actually having the courage to walk it out can be very challenging. So, yeah, I totally get it.
And that's what I like about this, Susan, because of your book. You give that and you share that information, but also encouragement and sort of a support. We feel like you're not on your own doing this journey. There's somebody else that's been there and you're on the other side of it, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. That is exactly what I want is I want them to know that I'm not the expert per se, but I'm a compatriot who is coming alongside them, like I'm on the journey too, and I'm always walking it out still. I'm still learning about how to fully walk it out, being healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And yes, so I want them to know that, yeah, you know what? I'm their fun friend who's coming along for the ride with them. Yeah, I just love cheering women on.
That's so great. That's why we have a good connection, you and I, because we both are have a common purpose there and goal and desire and love to support women. There's nothing better really than cheering each other on and being in a positive community and helping each other.
Definitely.
So good.
Yeah.
So Susan, what is one practical step they could take today to start to move towards the goal that they have?
Yeah. Could I actually do two? Is that okay?
For sure, yes.
Okay. So I would say two of the big areas that really I think are the most practical and women can do right now. One of them is that helped me tremendously was spending more time with God and having a framework to make that really easy. So what I do in my time with God in the morning is after I read a passage of the Bible, and anybody can do that. They can, get in a Bible app and just do a reading plan. But then when I'm actually having my prayer time, I follow what's called the pray model. And that is praise, just thank God for all the great things he's done in your life. Repent, just admit that you've made mistakes, ask God to forgive you. Stands for ask, and that is just submit your prayer requests to God. And the why part is the part that was most challenging for me, and that's called yield. And that is where I do that. I have a journal open. I set a timer for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is. And I just listen for God's voice. And I just write down whatever it is I'm hearing. And, sometimes it's a conversation. Sometimes he's doing more of the talking. Sometimes I'm doing more of the talking. But it's just time to connect with God. And that's something that was sorely missing in my life before I got sick. Like I told you earlier in this episode, I just thought I didn't have enough time. And what the truth was I just wasn't making the time. And so that is something that was just a game changer. And then the other thing that I see so often with women I talk to is talking about how difficult it is for them to emotionally regulate. And I know something that you talk about a lot is hormones and how, especially as we get older, how that can shift things around and it can make emotional regulation challenging. And so as you know, I used to be a wellness coach, fitness and nutrition. And one of the things that I noticed so much was that my clients, and this included me before I was paying more attention to it, was sorely under eating protein, like dramatically under eating on protein. And so I think if any woman out there wants to feel more emotionally regulated, if they ate 100 grams of protein a day, and that's just an easy number, like we all need at least 100 grams of protein a day. And if you track that and you I bet anytime I feel like I am going to crash out, I'm feeling tired, brain fog, feeling emotional, usually the first thing I'll check is how much protein have I had today? 9 times out of 10, I'm low on protein. I have a smoothie or I have, chicken or, some lean protein. And man, it makes all the difference. So those are the two things I would recommend right off the bat, practical things that women could do right now to move the needle.
I love that. So practical and so simple. That's amazing. Thank you for that. Oh, this is good. Okay, Susan, before we finish, I just like to do some rapid fire questions just for fun, for people to get to know
Yeah.
you a little bit better. What's your favorite healthy food?
So I would say if it's just like a one ingredient, one thing, it would be avocado. But the one thing that I would say is like it's healthy, but it seems like it's not healthy is like I don't know if you follow Lily Eats and Tells. That's an account that but she focuses on macro friendly healthy recipes. And so she finds some way, I don't know how she does it, but she has this turkey bacon cheeseburger that on her website it's macro friendly and it's honestly one of my favorite cheeseburgers ever. Like not because it's healthy, but because it's just delicious. So love it.
Okay, good to know. I like that. Okay, favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Ivy Island in like by Savannah, Georgia. It is just this cute beach town and it's just 20 minutes away from Savannah. So you get like the best of both worlds. You get, like a cute beach town, but then you have the benefit of being like right by a bigger city. So yeah, I love it.
Oh, I've never been. Well, and it's not too that I'm going to keep that one right on the list. That's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, one last question. What is something that might surprise us to know about you?
Well, just the first thing that came to my mind was that years ago I was in this play where I had to play a Southern belle and I had to wear a wig that I mean like this big blonde wig, like I probably had a like beehive like going up to here and it was hilarious. So it might because I haven't done theater for a while, so it might surprise people to know that I used to do theater and yeah, it was super fun.
Well, maybe we can find that picture sometime.
Yeah, maybe.
This has been a great conversation and so, so needed. Do you have anything else to add, Susan?
Well, I just want to say to all of the women out there who are feeling just exhausted, who feel like they probably are wondering like is this as good as it gets? Like is this just how life is that I just feel exhausted and burnt out and tired all the time and I just want to tell you no, that is not how this story has to end. God has so much more for you, and God is so, so good. So just know that God has amazing things for you, amazing plans for you. Like just the whole point of your podcast, I love that it's about renewing ourselves in every way so that we can live the lives that God has for us. So I just want every woman out there to know I'm cheering you on. I'm so excited for you to be able to go to that place that God has for you. So I pray that for every woman who's listening.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And it's true. We are spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical beings. None of it is isolated. And your story is the perfect example of how one just leads into another and they all need to be healed. It's not just one area. They all work together and the importance of healing the whole person.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for this, Susan. This has been great. And I've really enjoyed it. And I hope everyone gets your book. And I know it's going to be a huge encouragement to ladies and a support. And like I said, yeah, a bit of a light, a path to guide and also help to navigate when we feel that we are in seasons like this or when we see ourselves slipping back into this. Because I think if that's our natural tendency, we can be going
Yeah.
along doing great with it. And we're like, oh, I'll surrender to this, all good. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, whoops, hang on here. So it's not a one and done kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. And I just pray it blesses lots of women.
Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in today. If this episode spoke to you even in the smallest way, would you do me a quick favor? Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Leave a like or a review because it truly helps the message reach more women who need it. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, share this episode with her. You never know. Your share might be the spark that changes her entire season. I'm grateful you're here, walking this journey of renewal and radiance with me. And until next time, keep choosing to design a life you love.